Hey guys, welcome to my Friday evening stream. I was just putting the last few things together. I was working on the Tetris quilt blocks today, so I was on my other machine. So I just had to switch these out. So today we are going to start out by finishing up the glow-in-the-dark Ghostbusters quilt that I started yesterday. If you didn't tune into the stream yesterday, I made a mistake on it, so that's how I'm going to start the stream today. It's fixing the mistake. So this is how far I got yesterday. So I've got the Ghostbusters in there, I've got the logo in there, and that is when I discovered I made a mistake. I sewed the corner to the center as I was working on the red part. So that's how we're starting out today, is with my seam ripper. Oh, ode my seam ripper. The seam ripper that I like to use is Seam Fix, and I will show you why after I get all this done. So I remember back when I first was learning how to sew, and I would mess things up and I'd have to seam rip them out, you would actually have to sit there with a pair of tweezers and pull all the thread out. I only discovered this seam ripper about a year and a half ago. It is a fantastic seam ripper and I love it. So you don't need any tweezers, you don't need any of that stuff. So my plan for today, I'm going to pull all this out. I'm going to re-sew the red, so I've got to replace the white in here with red. So re-sew this area that I've messed up. And then I will add the very top, the who you gonna call? Oh, kitty cat. She has no modesty. I was thinking about doing the doggy cam, but they're not even down here right now, so it's gonna be kitty cat cam today. Hello, Mr. Marley. Are you coming to join us? Hi. I think whenever they start hearing me talking, they know something is up, and if they come down, they get TRATs. Hi, Cornish Miss Saucy. Hi, Soleil. I know, baby girl. Almost through this. Like, seriously, I do this so much. You'd think I would learn by now. Oh, I got so mad at myself last night. I showed Jordan what I did, and she laughed at me. I am fantastic. How are you this evening? In your wonderful kitchen. Okay, so normally, let me show you, after I finished seam ripping, you have all of these little threads that are in here that need to be removed. So I've got them there, and I've got all these little threads here. Yeah, you can't really see them on the other side. So I have a whole bunch of threads here that need to be removed. The old-fashioned way is to take tweezers, like I said, and pull them all out. But with this, with the Seam Fix seam ripper that I picked up, all you have to do is erase the thread away. So you use the top, and it's got almost like an eraser on it, so I don't know if an actual eraser would work or not. And that's it. So a matter of 5 seconds, if that, and all the thread is gone. It is a fantastic seam ripper. I don't mind mistakes as much anymore. And all thread's gone. Yep, I can see my lovely holes. Alright, so let's replace the thread for bits to finish drying. Fantastic! I'm so jealous that you're getting a new kitchen. So after it's all finished, you know, because you're talking about it in my stream, you're going to have to share pictures. We're all going to have to revel in your new kitchen. Alright, let's go back to red. Red is here. And I used this red. That's super, super important that I use the same exact shade of red that I used yesterday, because I'm only replacing a little bit of it. Now, when you figure it out, it's only going to cost maybe 15-20 minutes of extra time to do this. So it's not costing me that much extra time. It's just the fact that I'm dumb and I keep doing this to myself. Like, why do I keep doing this? Ugh, I was looking for my gloves. And let's do the extra stitch. There we go. It's all black and white. Oh, that's gorgeous. I love like the subtle black and whites. Stuff like that. That's so cool. Okay, and it looks good. Let's check the back, make sure I didn't trap it in again. No! Now I can show you everything that I got done yesterday. Fantastic. Okay. Now that part is done. Let's do here. All I'm doing now is I'm folding it in half. Thank you. And I don't remember if I mentioned yesterday, this is a commission. This is one of the commissions on my commission list. Okay. Alright, I'm going to worry about measuring everything after I finish cutting all the letters out. So, let's cut letters out. I did not work on this at all today. I worked on the Tetris quilt. I actually got all of the squares done except for the black squares. And I worked on getting all the Pac-Man pieces prepared and ready. So that way, whenever I get this finished, I can move right into the Pac-Man. Oops. So you may notice at the very top right, I've got a little thing that says giveaway. So I was thinking about it last night, and I'm like, you know what? I can't just say, hey, at 500 followers, I'm going to do X, Y, and Z. So I'm going to do little increments. So this first giveaway, I'm going to give away one of my quilt patterns. So a quilt pattern of choice. So if I get to 100 followers, I'm going to give a quilt pattern away. Hey, Doug. That is what I am working on right now. Yep, already fixed my mistake from last night. Are you still at work or have you made it home yet? It's funny you say who you're gonna call. That's actually what I'm cutting out right now. The pieces I'm cutting out. Okay. So you're not gonna leave me anytime soon. So I was just telling Cornish Miss Saucy, if you look in the upper right hand panel, you see that I made the decision to start doing some giveaways. So when I reach 100 followers, I'm going to give away one of my quilt patterns. And since you are my only real sub, I can tell you that people that sub are going to have 5 extra chances. I was looking at the software about for the giveaways for Twitch, and it's really, really cool. Man, I forgot how small these letters are. Yeah, and I figure every couple hundred, maybe every 100 until I get to 500, I'll do giveaways. It's not going to be a pattern every single time. I have got so much stuff around here. I've got fat quarter stacks. I've got pattern kits. I've got magazines. I've got samples, I've got fabric, I've got zippers. I have all sorts of things. I have like 5 bolts of pretzel fabric. What am I going to do with pretzel fabric? Like, there's so much stuff here. Like, I don't have to buy stuff and I can give stuff away. Especially whenever I go to market, either spring market and fall market, all the stuff that I pick up. So yeah, I'm going to do some giveaways. I even have some finished quilts and some finished things that I've done around here that are just kind of sitting here. So I can give that stuff away too. Ooh, new subject for you. What can I do with this fabric? Oh, I like that. I like that a lot. Maybe I should do that for a charity stream. Oh, yeah. See, that's what I'm saying, charity stream. Like, I'm never going to have anything to do, right? But I'm thinking, like, I have all of this fabric. Like, all that amazing, yummy cat fabric. Ooh. Maybe I should just, like, go into a charity stream with no plan and just kind of do things based on what you guys suggest. It's funny. I almost every convention, I always get the one person that comes up and says, you should start making and selling this. I used to say, oh, that's a good idea, and just not do it. But now I say, honestly, no. Nope. Not going to do it because I am so backlogged with commissions right now. I have so much to do. I do not have time to add anything new. You're a charity. I like that. I do not have time to learn how to make a new product and add it to what I'm doing. If you look on Etsy or look other places, there are people that probably already do that thing that you are suggesting that I do. Just because you want it at this moment in your hands does not mean that I'm going to start making this. Thank you. I love my fabric stash. I have been building it for 10 years. And there is so much here that I'm like, I don't know what to do with it. Like, okay. Let me see if I can reach it. Okay, so this is a fat quarter stack. I don't even know the brand. Patrick Lowe's Fabrics, L-O-S-E. This is the Land and Sea bundle. Isn't that cool? And then I can't reach that one. I've got a fat quarter stack of like 60 fat quarters up there from Moda, which is all Christmas fabric. It's all Christmas gingerbread men fabric. How cute is that? So I've got so much that it's just sitting there. I don't have anything to. I don't know what I'm gonna do with it. I may as well share the wealth. Now the only thing I've got to keep in mind is for people like you that are in a completely different continent, I can't pick something that's going to be too expensive to ship. So nothing with poly pellets. Those things are heavy. Just got my Muggetsy handed to me. I may have lied a little to get it. That is awesome. You know what? If it was a child that brought it to you, I have no problems with you lying a little bit just to get them to bring you some tea. Especially if this is the child that wants you to make them a quilt. They want you to sit and watch me for inspiration so that you can make them a quilt, right? Okay, that's still a kid. That's still a child. Who was I talking to? I was talking to someone the other day. And I said something about a kid. And they're like, oh, they're not a kid. They're 17. I said, Jordan's 15. 17 is a kid to me. Like, I have friends from high school that just became grandparents. So, yeah. And their kid didn't even get pregnant in high school. And they didn't get pregnant in high school. 2 more. Okay, so this is the last time I'm cutting letters out. I'm going to use the Brother Scan and Cut from now on. Like, seriously. Some of the cool things that I have, I've got a couple of sticks of this iron cleaning stuff, where if you get like black or residue or anything on your iron, you can actually use this stick and you put it on your iron and it cleans the iron off. Like, I forget some of the stuff that I buy because like my that's why we have tool toys mixed. Oh yeah. My how was I gonna say? Oh, my distributor every now and then will send me a catalog of, look at these brand new cool things you can get for your store. Well, I don't have a store, but I look at them and I go, oh, that's cool. I want to get that. Oh, it's a minimum order of 8? Okay. Sometimes some of the buying choices I make are not great. There we go. All right, so make sure I get all the little eyes and question mark stuff. And yep, fantastic. Okay, so let's first figure out how far from the logo I did the lettering. All right, I did it 7.5 inches. Okay, so for the top, I want to do it 7.5 inches. Okay. So that is 7.5 inches. Okay, now how do I want to do... Okay, it's all one straight line is what I was looking at. Okay. I'm just going to peel these off. Look how tiny some of these are. Yeah. Oh yeah, Jordan's already taller than me. And you are super tall, Doug, so I would totally expect your child to be 6'2". See, but you're still taller than him, aren't you? I think the cat's snoring. There's some noises coming over there. What is... My son was the same. He stopped growing. Oh my gosh. Yeah, see, I'm 5'2". What is... Or was that you, Marley? Oh my god, that's the cat. The cat is seriously, like, making noises in her sleep. No, I'm not gonna wake her up. I'm sitting over here and I hear squeaking and I'm like, what is this? Yeah, it's the cat. The cat is actually making dreaming noises. It's really weird. All right, something else you can do, because these are so tiny, the scoring is not really working too well. So I'm actually, here, I'll show you on the camera over here. You can see this. There we go. So I'm actually going to take the scissors and put it right between the paper. So what I did is I took the scissors and I kind of went like there and I figured it out, and then I went like that and I loosened the paper. So the paper can come right off. Wow, 7 feet. Oh. The only time I find this method easiest is when it's the super tiny, tiny little applique like this. And this method of applique, of just drawing, cutting, ironing, and sewing, is called raw edge. Because if you look closely, you can see the edges of the fabric. There's a whole bunch of different kinds of ways to do applique. This... Is she passing gas over there? No, that's snoring. I have never heard her snore before. That is so funny. Alright. I'm moving the mic. Seriously. I've got to get this mic closer to the cat. Because you guys have got it. Oh, hey. I sold something on Etsy. Love you guys. Okay, there you go. The mic's all the way over there, so hopefully you can pick up some of the cat snoring. Oh, wait. I don't want to end this shot. There we go. So whoever bought something for me, if you ever watch this stream, or if you're watching now, love you. Thank you. There we go. For some reason, this one was giving me a little bit of trouble. Oh, did I disturb her? No, she's still sleeping. She's deaf. So my cat, so that's Hestia. She's deaf. Oh, and hi to Wolf Design. No, so she can't hear me at all. Unless I go and touch her, she's not waking up. I can't believe my cat, but she's not snoring anymore though, so hopefully that does it. Oh, that was you, Cornish Miss Saucy. Thank you very much. Oh, was that the bribe to get the tea from your son? Did you tell him you're going to make him that quilt? After I just said I'm going to do a pattern giveaway, I appreciate the purchase. It is super, super appreciated. And you know I'm going to want to see what it looks like when you finish with fabrics that you choose. And she hasn't moved. She woke herself up. Yeah, that's why she's not snoring. She's not in a deep sleep anymore. Maybe when I went over there and I kind of put my hand near her, maybe the ESP or something kind of woke her up a little bit. To Wolf Design, thank you very much for the follow. I appreciate it. My streaming schedule this weekend, I just remembered I forgot to mention that at the beginning. I am going to stream Saturday and or Sunday. I have no clue what time. My husband is in a softball tournament all weekend long. So depends on the time of his games. Depends on when I'm going to stream. So his first game is at 11 a.m. tomorrow. Yeah, and you can always pick a different pattern if you win one, right? In addition to a king TARDIS, I think I want a Ghostbusters radioactive. I don't know if I can make it radioactive, Doug. I can make you the king-size TARDIS, but I don't know about the radioactive Ghostbusters. Glow in the dark, like this one, yes. So, my husband's first game is at 11 a.m. So, I'm going to go to that, and then I'll find out the schedule for the rest of the day. So, like, if he's got a game at, let's say, 1 o'clock, and then again at 5 o'clock, well, then I'll come home, stream for a couple hours in the afternoon, and then go back to the 5 o'clock game. If he's got a game like 1 o'clock, 3 o'clock, well, then I'll wait and stream in the evening. So it all depends upon his schedule. But I'll update my Twitch tomorrow as soon as I know what's going on. If it glows, it's radioactive. You're funny. Alright, almost done peeling these letters apart. And then after I iron them down, I get to do the thing that I hate the most about applique. And that is sewing on tiny letters. There you go. And I am not throwing this away yet, this pile of the paper backings, until I know every single one of these letters is done correctly. Alright. Now, let me center this. So this is 14, oh, it's already centered because this is 14 inches wide. So I'm going to start by doing this, because by centering this, I'm automatically centering my letters. And there's Marley barking at the deaf cat. Marley, honey. Hi, Marley. Hi. She's not going to play with you. Honey, she's not going to play with you. No, no, Kitty Cat doesn't play with you. No, she's not. I know, you're very cute. Okay, so that is not going to work. I'm running out of space. So, let's do that there. Oops, come on. Just realized I didn't turn my iron on. There we go, got that. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. Marley, come here. Come here, babe. No, you don't want to come here now. You want to sit in Alfred's bed and be cute so that I change the cam from the cat cam to the dog cam, don't you? Okay, so Marley never ever barks. He does not bark at all, unless it's at the cat or a dog walking by the front. That's the only time we ever hear him bark. We had him, for a whole 2 months before he even barked at all. Scared the bejesus out of me. I flipped. When he barked for the first time, it scared the crap out of me. Yeah. I apologize for scaring your cat and jumping and and killing your headphones and Marley, you need to come apologize to everyone. Oh, he's up. Where are you? Marley, come here. You want to get a treat? Come here. All right, come here. You're gonna go on camera and you're gonna apologize to everyone, and then I'm gonna clean my shirt. All right, come here. Okay. You have a wide format printer and one of my cats thinks it's... Oh, you missed the whole talk yesterday about that cat thinking this was a bed. I caught her one time laying across here, and I had to go in and clean the whole thing out to make sure there was no cat hair on it. You gonna be all cute? You're being cute, aren't you? Oh, Here comes the little one. Here comes Alfred. Alfred says, oh, wait, I hear treats. I know. Is this what you want? You gotta apologize to them. Say, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to bark and scare everyone. All right. All right, come here, Alfred. Since I've got to clean my shirt anyways of dog hair. Say hi. I know this is what you want, isn't it? Say hi. All right. Hold on, Marley. I gotta get a treat now for Alfred. All right, there's Marley, and there's Alfred. Yeah, he's getting used to being picked up. Marley is getting a lot better, and he doesn't have the, oh my God, you're gonna kill me in my sleep look whenever you pick him up. Okay, I have a desktop and a laptop right here. If I leave the laptop on at all, the cat will come and lay on it from the warmth of it. So you know how many times I would come down and my screen would be upside down because the cat is hitting the short keys for changing the screen around? Oh, did any of you guys see, wait, today is Friday. On Wednesday. So, Wednesday? Because I didn't have a stream Wednesday. But yeah, so Wednesday, I'm like, it says I'm streaming. Why does it say I'm streaming? The cat opened OBS and hit the short key to start streaming. Luckily, I had the thanks for watching and the microphone off, or else you guys would have watched me sitting here working on the computer for 2 hours. Oh, I couldn't believe the cat did that. Okay, so I have to go even wider. Okay. Let's do... There we go. Let's go 1, 2, 3 inches out. Oops. I could not believe the cat did that. I immediately went on and erased it so it didn't see. 1, 2, 3 inches out. There we go. So you guys didn't see that I streamed 2 hours of the thanks for watching. So if anyone popped in during that time, I apologize. It was the cat. There we go. All right. Spacing. Let's give this one a little bit more space. So don't iron anything down when you're working with applique until you have everything exactly the way you want it. The shark eating the cat. That's awesome. That is amazing. I love it. Absolutely love it. Alright, I think that's all straight. I think that's good. Alright, now, remember from yesterday, whenever we were putting the applique on here, we do not want to automatically put the iron down and start putting it back and forth and ironing. We want these to stay in the exact position they are. So you're picking the iron up and putting it down. And holding it there for about 3 or 4 seconds, maybe even 5 or 6 seconds, until it's got a nice, there we are. Now, this is not enough. This is just the initial. Now, I can actually iron it back and forth because I've done the initial press down and it is in place. Guys! They're going through all my English paper piecing supplies over there. They're like, oh, is there food in here? Let's knock all of these boxes over and go through all these papers. There we go. All right. So now I have, let's put it right there. I have my letters on there. I changed my thread from the red, fixing the mess up from yesterday. Notice how I didn't put it away, I just set it behind me. So I don't have to go hunting for it whenever I screw it up again. And white. There we go. Alright, and gloves. Watch what is beneath your piece. What do you mean, watch beneath my piece? What do you... It's still folded, isn't it, Doug? Guys, they're playing. Thanks, Doug. Your submission printer. You mean to cut out applique stuff? Maybe. It is, I use a Brother Scan and Cut. Thanks, Doug. I appreciate that. To Wolf Design, I sewed the top back of the quilt into the center design, which is what I had to fix this morning. Marley, he doesn't want to play right now. Leave him be. So, yeah, I don't know if your submission printer with stuff would work. If you could cut fabric and things on it. I use the Brother Scan and Cut. I know, yeah. I know Cornish Miss Saucy said you had a Cricut? I don't remember what kind of machine you have. Does it do any cutting at all or just printing? The Silhouette Cameo, that was it. Or do you mean just printing the stuff onto the fabrics? Oh, okay. I see what you mean. Okay, yeah, so you could actually print it. You're right. So the only problem is that you have to use applique paper. You can't use regular paper. And applique paper has the glue on the one side of it, and that's what I was peeling off. I was peeling the paper off of the fabric, and the glue was staying on the fabric. So I don't know if you could put that into your machine, because if it's hot at all, it'll glue itself to your machine. So if you can print it without any heat at all, then yeah, that might work. So print it onto the paper and then put that onto the fabric, cut it out, and then put it onto the fabrics. I know with the Silhouette Cameo and the Brother Scan and Cut, there they are, you can actually draw everything and program everything into your computer and then tell the machine to cut it out. So you actually, it doesn't draw, it doesn't do anything. If you look at my stream from the Pokemon quilt that I did, the Pokemon applique quilt, if it's not here on Twitch, it's on my YouTube, you can actually see the Brother Scan and Cut in use. You can actually see how it works. But all it does is it takes it from the computer and it cuts the fabric out that's already on the paper all in one step. So there's no drawing, there's no nothing. Yeah, and it's super easy. I don't know why I didn't do that for the letters. This is all classic applique. I should have done that for this. I can't do it for the logo. Logo's too big. But as Cornish Miss Saucy pointed out, I could have done it for the lettering. And I would have saved some time. This is why I hate little letters. more turning and picking up of the presser foot than actual sewing. I know I wanted to go old school. But you know what? Now I've done a stream and showed how you do applique if you don't have a nice machine that does all those things for you. And one letter is done. Now, if you are doing applique and you're doing a stitch like this, where it's not a straight stitch, it's a decorative stitch, you always want to reset your stitch between every design you do. So if you're doing letters, reset the stitch between the letters. Yeah, those are fine. Even if you have an old school singer, that'll all work for this. And you can just do applique old school. So if you don't reset your stitches between each thing you're doing, whether it's letters, whether it's designs, whether it's, whatever, then it may start the stitch in the middle of your design and not on the edge, which is where you want it. Yeah, you definitely do not need... Now, this is a semi-fancy machine. But I do this for a living. I sew every single day of my life. Even when I'm on the road for conventions. I bring a travel machine and I sew. So... you don't need a super fancy machine to sew and quilt. Oh, yeah. See, and Doug, that's what I'm talking about whenever I was talking about the different machines and the materials of what you can use them for. All of the machines that I have cannot sew the heavy, super industrial stuff. So the, oh, that's cool. It sews with wax coated. Oh, wow. That is so cool. Yeah, so you could definitely quilt on that thing. And I was talking to someone, I think Tuesday? Yeah, I think Tuesday I was talking to someone about the neck of a machine, the throat of a machine, and the size of the quilts. So as long as you are not doing a queen or king size king or queen size quilt, it doesn't matter how big your throat is for your machine. If you're doing a lap, almost any machine will work. If you're doing a larger quilt, you want a machine that has a bigger throat in there so you can shove the fabric in, not a problem. And if you're dealing with materials like you were talking about, those heavier materials, yeah, you need a machine that can handle that, or else you can burn it out. I will never forget. Oh, I never told you guys the story of when I first got into quilting, did I? The first class I took. So, after my first divorce, I was looking for something to do. I had all sorts of friends, but they were all couples friends and had kids. And I was single by myself, no kids at the time. So I decided, you know what, let's actually do something productive. So I talked to my mom, and mom's like, oh yeah, I'd love to do something with you. So we pulled out the Joann Fabrics catalog. And Cornish Miss Saucy, I don't know if you're familiar, Joann Fabrics is a retail chain store that's a craft and fabric store here. Well, not here, but in the States. I'm now in Canada, and there's none here. So we look at the catalog of different classes, and we're like, we had narrowed it down to knitting, or quilting of what we wanted to learn. And we're looking at all the different classes, and the quilt class was a basic beginner quilt class, learning to make curved fruit placemats. And we're like, that sounds like a lot of fun. Okay, let's learn how to quilt. So we go into class, and like most people, my knowledge about sewing machines and sewing was not great. I had bought a sewing machine 3 or 4 years earlier just to have one. I bought it at Walmart for $40. So I bring that machine to class with me. It didn't go very well. It was, I couldn't get it threaded, it kept knotting, I was having all these problems, and the teacher was doing the best she possibly could without being critical of my machine, because I'm sure she saw what I had and was like, oh my lord, she is not going to ever sew with that thing. So she actually knew that my mother was with me, pulls my mother over and says, you may want to let her know after class if she really wants to do this, if she really wants to quilt, she needs a better machine. And my mother had an old metal, like super machine that she got at Sears like in 1972 or something that was a workhorse. It was the cost of a appliance back then, so it was super expensive. So she pulls me aside and she tells me this, and I went, oh, okay, I'll think about it. Because we had a whole week before the next class. It was a 3-week class. So my mother actually lived next to a brother dealer. So, and she works from home. So the next day she calls me and says, hey, so I decided just, you know, for the fun of it, to go into the dealership and just take a look to see what they have. And they have this really cute, nice little brother that I think would work, and it's only like $500. And I went, ooh, that's a lot of money. I don't know if I can afford $500. I know it's, you know, it's really not a lot when you consider the cost of sewing machines. So I went in the next day, and I love them there. I still go back and see them and say hi and stuff. So I went in and I was talking to the lady that talked to my mom, and I started playing around with the sewing machine, and I'm like, okay, yeah, I'll buy it. So I go into the class the next week with this new sewing machine, and just making sure I'm not sewing the back to it. And the teacher looked at me, and she looked at my mom, and she goes, well, I guess you really must want to learn, and you really must want to do this. And you're, okay, great. So I made the placemats, put the binding on wrong. Yeah, I totally messed that one up. One of these days I'll try to find that project and tell you and show you guys how bad it is. So I really liked it. So then I had this new sewing machine. I'm like, you know what? I'm going to start designing all of these quilts. So I started making the pixel quilts, and I started giving them away as gifts, and I did a swap on Sprite Stitch. I did all sorts of things. Well, next thing I know, all of a sudden, people are starting to ask for them for money. So in that first year, thousands and thousands of hours on that machine. I burned the motor out on month 11. Marley, leave Alfred alone. He doesn't want to play. So I literally burned the motor out. Like, the machine didn't want to work anymore. I burned it out. That's how much I was quilting with it in a year. So this store had a 1-year upgrade program where if you had bought a machine from them, you could go back and get the same credits of the machine that you bought from them to put towards another machine. So because it was within a year, at month 11, I went back to the store. I got a $500 credit even though the motor was burned out, and I got this. I got this one. And I still have it. So this machine is now 9 years old, and I love it. And it is fantastic, and it is still kicking. So even if it's a decent machine, you can burn the motor out. I know, that wasn't as great as the stories I told yesterday with the first date stuff. Or the Renfest stuff. I was trying to think of some more good stories to tell you guys last night, and I couldn't think of anything. Like, all of the drunk stories are not appropriate for a G-rated chat. Oh, don't forget, if you're doing lettering, see that A? I've got to do inside that A. The first couple of times I appliqued letters, I forgot to do inside the letters. Now, if you guys ever see me at a convention and you want to go out for a beer after the convention, I can tell you some of those stories. Yeah, see? Suitable to keep in chat. Oh, yeah. We were doing story time yesterday, Wolf. It was amazing. We told our worst date stories. Surprisingly, they were all G. We learned that Corner-Schmidt Saucy totaled a Jaguar. That wasn't even hers. See, and I'm sure being in the Navy, you probably have a ton of great stories. Oh, I'm on Ghana. Man, this thing takes forever. At least, after this, then I can work on the black. I can work on the black of the face. And then I'm done. I can do the borders. Oh, I don't know about that. Drunk Navy and drunk Army. You guys get together? Ooh, yeah. Drunk coffee. Okay, feel free to tell any stories, guys. Just make sure it's PG. We learned yesterday that apparently boobies get censored out with the super filter on this chat. I was thinking about that, Doug, about why it filtered that out. It's probably because I've got it on the G, so I don't want anyone making comments about me. That's probably why it would filter that out. Although you were talking about your bad date, so. What are you doing? Leave my cardboard alone. Hi. You're just having a good old time down here, aren't you? I swear they don't do all this stuff when I'm not streaming. Oh, let me reset it. There we go. Parasailing off the back of a Humvee. Oh. Oh my gosh. Oh, that would hurt. Hopefully you were so drunk you didn't feel it. And it just hurt the next day. Yeah, Doug's the one that's like, oh, I'll drive you so you can do that. You can do the stupid thing. I'll drive you. Okay, guys, where'd I put my scissors? Seriously, Yes, you're an enabler. I know you, Doug. You're an enabler. Where? Oh, put them all the way on the right. Always try to trim your threads for your applique before you go around and sew it in even more. There we go. You could see them? Oh, you could. Oh, not the big scissors, the little ones. Alright, I'll see you later, Doug. Thanks for popping in. Why would the Navy put housing in Key West surrounded by bars so they'd not be... You know what? That is a great point. That is an absolutely great point. Too bad, Doug, you're going to miss the story of the stupid thing that I did when we were camping over Canada Day weekend. I just remembered that story. Although it's a very mild story. That's funny. Why would they put him at the... I like that. I like that a lot. You know what? It's a very, very good point. You know what? It's some of these places that it's like they have that big naval base in New Orleans. You know what's gonna happen. Oh, cat's down. She's eating. Guys. The dogs are playing again. They're trying to be cute, so I give them things. Virginia Beach, Norfolk. Oh, yeah. It was interesting. I did Tidewater Comic-Con, which was nice. I don't think I'm going to be doing it again, though. Because that convention is in Virginia Beach, and it's all dependent how good or how not good it's going to be if the sailors get their paychecks or not. So if it is the Friday of payday, the convention does well. If it's not, it doesn't do well. Yeah. I like Boston. I think Boston Comic-Con's coming up. No, I'm not doing Boston Comic-Con. It is, isn't it coming up in the next week or two? Yeah, see, so I am... Let me look at the dates. Yeah, so I'm leaving on the 14th for Indianapolis for Gen Con. And Gen Con is a huge convention for me. So I normally try to have about a month between my conventions. Now, there's the odd, weird situation where I may have some back-to-backs, or like in next April, I'm going to have AwesomeCon and C2E2 back-to-back, which is going to kill me because I'm handmade. So whatever I sell at that first convention, I'm just not going to have for that next convention. And the Boston Comic Con's a big one. So Gen Con, I teach a lot of classes, a lot of sewing classes there. So it's super important for me to be there and to have things. So I try not to have any conventions within a month of Gen Con. No, I actually can't do any packs because they don't have any artists. They don't have an artist alley. And the vendors that they do, the only vendors that are there have been grandfathered in from the beginning. They're not accepting any new vendors in at all unless they are video game companies. So unfortunately, that's one of the rules that they made. It is owned by Reed Pop, which is the same people that do New York Comic Con and C2E2, which I do. I do New York Comic Con and C2E2. And I'm actually, they've got a new PAX Unplugged, which is going to be in Philadelphia in November, and I'm on the wait list because they are letting some vendors in. They don't know who, they don't know how, but I'm on the wait list for that, so maybe. And if I can get in because it's the first year, well then great, I'll be grandfathered in, I'll be good. But if I don't get in, probably never getting in. So it's going to be a crapshoot. But yeah, no, I know I would do fantastic at PAX. Now, I do MagFest, which is in Maryland at the National Harbor. That's the 24-hour video game convention. It is amazing. I love it so much. I actually do a claw tournament every year. We actually have a claw tournament club from a bunch of people that do the claw tournament every single year. And we send each other messages of whenever we see claws. So if you ever look at my my Facebook page and you see me at a claw machine holding up a stuffed animal, yeah, that's why. I'm practicing. I tried to live stream it last year. It was before I started Twitching. And it is not a good signal in there. So I'm going to try to Twitch stream it this year, but it may or may not be fine because the signals stink in that place. So I assume then you're in the New England area? Oh, that'll be nice. Oh, I love downtown Boston. I actually have one of Jordan, my stepdaughter, one of her friends. We drove them to the rugby game Wednesday night. And her friend, apparently she had a hockey tournament on the outskirts of Boston the previous weekend. So we're talking to her and her dad, and I'm like, oh, did you get any lobster? He goes, no. I'm the only one that likes lobster. My wife and daughter don't like it. I'm like, you can't go to Boston and not get some good cheap lobster that was just pulled out of the freaking ocean. It's awesome. I love Boston. I'm getting there. You know, I've never been to Newport. I've been to Boston twice. The first time was because my ex-husband was a huge Red Sox fan. So for our anniversary one year, we went to Boston and went to a game. And then explored the city, did all the touristy stuff. And then the second time, Cornish Miss Saucy heard the story yesterday, was for the lovely, failed online Comic-Con that had an attendance of 14. You know, I actually looked up, I tried to find my little pedal thing here to lift this up. Oh, there it is. Oh, I think I found it. I couldn't find where it was before. Hold on. I may have a new gadget. Alright, how does this work? Alright, it's gotta be closer to the edge. I'm gonna see if I can get this to work. Oops. You guys didn't tell me that one of my table legs was off. There we go. Alright. How do I... It doesn't go in there, does it? Dang it, it's the wrong one. I got this from another machine, but it was a brother, so I was hoping it would fit. No, I can't find it. I don't know what happened to my bar that goes with this machine. So basically, the way this works is if I can find the bar that goes with the machine or buy it, this goes, there's a little hole down here on the right-hand side that this goes in. And then what you do is you take your leg and you press this out. Every time you press this with your leg, your thigh, you just kind of do one of these things. Do a Suzanne Summers. Pop that out. The presser foot goes up. So if you're appliquing, you don't have to constantly stop. Lift it up, put it down. You can just take your leg and move your thigh out, give yourself a good thigh workout, and pop it open. So I actually tried to play with it, and I couldn't figure out where the hole was to stick it in. G-rated. And I just saw it. It's underneath. Okay. I'm going to have to buy a bar. Okay. All right, let me stick that out of the way. Oops. Oh, I'm sorry, Marley. I didn't mean to scare you. See, and that's cool, looking at Fenway. That's really, really cool. I liked Fenway. It was a fun park. Okay. Got my table. Okay, great. Wait, why? Oh, it's because this is up. There we are. Oh. I shifted everything. Now I gotta put it back because I was playing with stuff. There we are. Alright, now I'm good. Yeah, so right now I could just move my thigh over to the right, but no, I've got to actually lift it up with my finger and then put it back down again. Now there is a button here that I can lift the presser foot up and down. I just find it's faster instead of pushing the button and waiting for it to move. See, I can push this button and it lifts it. Oops. Come here. Yeah, so the next few conventions I have in 2 weeks is Gen Con, which is amazing. I also IRL stream my convention setup. So if you want to see the super easy one we just did at Con Bravo, that's on there. Or I've also done Heroes and Villains Nashville and Too Many Games are on my YouTube. But so we'll stream our Gen Con setup, and then I'll try to stream as much as I can during the actual convention, just with how the convention feels, how it looks. It's just, if you like tabletop gaming, oh, that convention's a dream. It is so much fun. Like, every time I describe it to someone, they look at me, they're like, it can't be like that. And then they go and they're like, oh my gosh. Oh, you weren't kidding. It's just, it's amazing. Oh, that's fantastic. I'm trying to find other Twitch people that I know that are going, so I can hook up with some people. Are they selling there, or are they just going to go? Oh no, not Dragon Con, Gen Con. Although I am going to Dragon Con as well. Dragon Con is a sci-fi fantasy convention. Gen Con is the one that's in 2 weeks. Yeah, this is the first time that I'm going to Dragon Con, and I'm selling there. I'm actually helping a friend of mine at their booth, and then in return, they're giving me some space to sell my quilts and patterns. Oh, I'm on the A of call. Seriously, I hate this part of the quilt. I don't know if I know either one of them. I'll have to look them up. Yeah, I don't know how much I'll be able to stream there. I know that, Nerd and Needle. I know that Nerd and Needle is going to be there. And we already agreed that we're going to try to hook up and do a stream together.
Hi.
Are you playing with Marley?
Alfred's in the hole.
Yes, he was hiding from Marley because Marley wanted to play with Alfred, but Alfred didn't want to play with Marley.
He's in the hole.
So my small dog,
Hi.
Alfred, was hiding inside the cat tree from the other dog.
He looks pretty chill in there. Oh,
Yeah.
Now he's on Soleil. Yeah, you go. I have to change the modes.
You sure you don't want to help me do some sewing on the stream? You never want to be on the stream anymore.
Come here. Come on, buddy. No. Come back. Come here.
Soleil, stop. Now that the kid is playing with the dogs, they're all getting jealous.
Alfred, I tried. Come on, Alfred, go.
Oh, that's cool. Hey, stop it. I don't think she's not in my team.
Enough.
Is she?
Don't. Soleil.
Guys.
Alfred's in the hole again. I tried to help you.
She is. I knew Fierce Kitten sounded familiar. She's a team member of mine. She's in So Be It. Alright, so I'll have to message her and see if she wants to get together with because Nerdy Needle's also in my stream team.
Alfred is safe. He's in the hole. Marley can't get him.
Oh, okay, cool. Soleil, seriously, dog. Alright, I'm on the home stretch. I am halfway through the final word. Oh. Soleil, leave it. Hey. Oh, that's cool. Yeah, so I've got Gen Con, then Dragon Con, then New York Comic Con. I do not know if I'm doing TwitchCon yet or not. I'm on the wait list, so I'm just waiting to hear. And then the Quilt Market in Houston, the Fall Quilt Market Houston. Thinking. October. Oh, and then Toy Fair in New York City in November. And then MagFest in January.
Toy fair?
Yeah, it's a toy fair. So it's
Really?
sponsored by Toys R Us and Lego. How cool is that? Why, you want to go?
Where is it?
New York City?
Maybe.
Well, it's in November, so you'd miss school.
Depends on my glasses on it.
Yeah.
Because if I have the same semester as first, then...
Yeah, if you have a hard
No.
semester, then there's no way you're coming with me.
I hope I have a hard semester first. It's a lot easier. Relaxing.
I think that's all I've got. I know, Rumble and Roar Wand Makers invited me to a convention in 3 weeks, at the end of the month. It's between Gen Con and Dragon Con down in South Carolina, and they had to turn him down for that one.
I might go get Alfred a blanket.
He's got a towel. Oh, for in there?
Yeah.
If you want.
I don't know. Probably not.
Oh, there's another blanket that I just put up there that we had given to Marley for the pet sitter when we went to Florida.
Yeah.
It's sitting upstairs if you want to grab that one.
I don't know. He seems pretty chill.
Okay. See, I almost thought you fell asleep, Cornish Miss Saucy. It's been a while since you said anything. Alright, Jord. So after this, hun,
Yeah?
I'm putting the face on the ghost,
Oh, nice.
and then I'm doing the borders, and then I'm working on my Pac-Man quilts.
Coolio.
So my point is, if you want to help, there's plenty for you to do.
Okay.
Guys, Marley, Leaf and Bee. Okay, so you guys want to hear how stupid I was over the Canada Day weekend? So we went camping with a bunch of my husband's friends, and it's down on the water, so it's Lake Michigan, I think it is. And there's a really cool island that's in the middle of the lake. I don't know if it's not halfway between Canada and Ohio, but it's like right around there. So we're like, you know what? It's this whole big fall asleep whilst watching quilting comparison. You fall asleep all the time at the nighttime streams. It's late for you. Okay. It is 11:27. I think I've got the conversions right there. So we're like, hey, that sounds really cool. They've got wineries. They've got this. You know what? That'd be a cool thing to go for a couple hours and check this island out. So I'm chatting with everyone at the campground, and I said, do you guys know how long the ferry trip is? And everyone's like, oh, it's not long. I think it's like 20 minutes. I'm like, okay, cool. So we look at the times. As I'm sitting there looking at the time, it was like 10:45, and there was a ferry that was going to leave at 11. And the next ferry wasn't going to leave until 2 p.m. So there's no way we were going to get there by 11 o'clock. So we're like, you know what? Let's take the 2 o'clock ferry. Let's do this. Let's go see the island. So we get there. The tickets are like $15 a person each way. And we're like, that's really expensive. But you know what? This is the only way to get to the island. I'm sure there's a reason, da-da-da-da. So we get there, and we go get on the ferry. There's a dining room, and there's like all sorts of these things. And we're like, This is weird. So we're sitting there on the ferry. We brought Alfred with us because we took Alfred camping. He gets off my lap, goes running on the bench over to the woman that's sitting next to me and tries to cuddle up in her lap. She does the whole, oh, look at the doggy! And starts petting her and loving her and everything else. And so, yeah, so I go over and I pay attention to him. And Mike is talking to Jordan about when the return ferry is going to be. And so they pull out the schedule and they're looking at it. Now, this is not the schedule I saw online. Okay, this is the schedule we picked up there. Thank goodness I had the forethought to think of this. They pick it up and he says, landing time 4 o'clock. Tony, I think this ferry is a 2-hour trip. And I went, no, it's like 20 minutes. So we pull up the Google Maps and look to see how far away the island is from us. It's a 2-hour ferry trip. So we're sitting there getting ready to leave, and if we would have left, we were supposed to play Flip Cup that night with a bunch of people. So much fun. So we're sitting there, and we were like, okay, if we leave now at 2 o'clock, we would get there at 4 and have to immediately get back on the ferry and come back at 6. Or we could stay and catch the next ferry 4 hours later that wouldn't get us back until between 10 and 11, and by then everyone's already going to be 3 sheets. So we're like, we've got to get off the ferry. So we go down, luckily they didn't start leaving yet. We get off, I go to the lady, and there I was like, okay, so it's completely my fault. I thought it was a short ferry ride. I didn't realize how long it was. Completely my fault. So if you want to change the adjustment and the count that you have, we need to go because we have plans. And she looks at me and goes, oh, would you like a refund? And I went, I wasn't going to ask for one, but sure. So we went down. Of course, that was embarrassing getting the refund. And apparently they had a little outside art thing in the little town there, so we went and did that instead. So, yeah, we almost spent 4 hours on a ferry for nothing. And then as we're walking around the art thing, Mike goes, you know that woman next to you had no bra on, right? I'm like, no, why would I realize that? He goes, yeah, Alfred's got good taste. I'm like, oh, my lovely husband. Yeah, and then all night long, they all made fun of me. So that's all I heard for like the next 2 days about how I can't read this stuff and how I can't do this stuff. But Alfred's got good taste. And I am done with the stupid words. Yay! Yay! Okay, so now he has no face. Let's give him a face. Okay, so here is the face. I've already driven it on, so here's the glue that's on the back, so I've drawn it on the smooth side. I am not using the Moda Marble for the face. I'm using a regular black Kona. So let's... Oh, I gotta warm up the iron. Trying to think if there's any other good stories. I told the story about how I used to work in the recording studio in the early 90s. Doing the reel-to-reel. You know, I was a middle school math teacher for a few years. There it is. And now I make quilts for a living. Here we go. I was just looking. I featured crayon collection on the Craft Hacker post today. So it is a charity that is. Actually, as I cut these out, I'm going to put them on his face. That's why I did it the way I did. So it's a charity about that collects used crayons from restaurants and other places that have the crayons, and you basically don't use the whole crayon, and they melt them down, and they do all sorts of really cool things with them. Okay, so this is the upper left eyebrow. So I was just looking, they just made a comment on the post. So that's why I was smiling and looking at that. Here it goes to the left. Because I always mix up the eyebrows and the nose and the mouth on this quilt. So I've learned as I cut these out to put them on right away. It's the only time when I don't draw on the stuff all close together to save fabric. I care more about what the design's going to look like. Yep, thick parts on the bottom. Jobs when I was in HS, in Navy, and B. Nice. See, but that's what happens a lot whenever you are in the Navy or the Army. I have a friend of mine in the Air Force. It's always jobs within Air Force stuff. When you retire, are you actually retiring, or are you going to get a job in the private sector while you collect money from the Navy? See, again, these appliques are so small, it's easier just to do that. Oh, this way, that's right. There. Aha. Yeah, see, that's great. Make your own hours, do your own thing. Here we go. It's getting there. I love working for myself. I have a friend of mine, completely different work for the hospital. Pierce. Oh yeah, that's awesome. Oh, that's fantastic. So are you going to retire from the VA hospital as well? Or just active duty stuff? Oh, I was just thinking, Cornish Miss Saucy, about how late it is for you. I normally am in bed at 10 o'clock. 'Cause I'm tired every day. But today, the Rainmaker on Splatoon 2 is from 10 o'clock from 10 p.m. until 12 a.m. my time. So I may be staying up tonight to play it. Okay, so you're out of the Navy active service in 99, but then you're retiring from the other stuff. Okay. I've got it now. That's really cool. Okay, and then this is the chin that goes underneath. Alright, I think he's good. What do you guys think? Is that a good face? I think I've got all the spacing right. Oh, this eyebrow needs to come up a little bit. Chin's gonna come a little closer to the face. Yeah, I think that's good. Oh, that's awesome. That's cool. So by working at the hospital and doing all that, you've actually added on extra years to your retirement. That is awesome. Oh. Okay. All right, let's iron this thing down. And you can't tell in the camera, but his face actually has a small tinge of green right now because of the glow in the dark. So if you work with the glow in the dark fabric, if it turns a tinge of pale light green, don't freak out. It's normal. Wow, see, I am the kind of person, and I've always been this way. I need a good 7 hours, preferably 8 hours, or I am a grumpy bee. Like, my family just, they know, don't talk to me or do anything first thing in the morning until I've had at least 1 cup of coffee in me. It kills me at conventions, especially like Gen Con. Because Gen Con, I'm trying to think of a good example. So if you think of, so Wolf, you can imagine how big Fenway Stadium is. And I'm thinking of something in Europe. So a ballpark. So imagine how big a ballpark is. A normal convention center room is 5 ballparks. The Gen Con vendor, artist, author room is about 15 ballparks. That's how big this thing is. They also have the same exact sized room on the other side of the convention center that's all tabletop gaming, and it goes till midnight. So every year after the vendor room closes, we all sit up and tabletop game. It's a lot of fun. But then, of course, we've got to be back in the vendor room at 9 a.m., and I'm teaching classes this year, and a bunch of my classes are at 10 a.m., so I never get much sleep at Gen Con. Okay, so I'm using the same stitch. It's a blanket stitch. And I'm pulling all the fabric out, so I'm not going to sew the back in there like I almost did to those words. This should not... Oh. It would help if I threaded... If I actually put the thread into the needle. There we go. I hit the button, but I didn't bother to make sure. Yes. It's like we reach a certain age where we need our caffeine to keep us going. Now, at this point, I'm going through 3 layers of fabric. I've got the red of the no symbol, I've got the white of the ghost, and now the black of the face. So this is something that you do not want to do on an inexpensive machine. It's 3 layers of fabric plus 3 layers of that glue. So not even counting the quilting I'm going to be doing later with the batting and the backing. And you notice how I've used the same needle all the way throughout. I have not had to change my needle at all. It's because I'm using the chrome. I love these needles. They do not get any of the sticky goo on there from the applique paper. It just slides right off. I don't know why I keep putting them in different places. You think I'd know better. Oops, come on. So Jordan's doing washing some clothes, and she's got clothes in the dryer right now. She had the door closed so that you guys couldn't hear the sound of the dryer. One of the dogs just went in there, opened the door so she can go and lay on the clothes in there. So if you hear any kind of yeah, that's because of the dog. And now I've got my microphone over there. I still can't believe the cat was snoring earlier. Never heard her do that. After I finish this, before I work on the border, I will move the mic back. So we need to start thinking, after I give the pattern away at 100 followers, what am I going to give away at 200? Should I give fabric away? Should I give supplies away? Maybe I'll just like reach into all of my scraps and like grab a bunch of those and throw a whole bunch of those in a box. Alright, this is it. I am almost done with the applique. Woo! I'm done. No more gloves. Alright, so here is his face. I'm like looking at it in the camera going, okay, I didn't spell anything wrong, did I? Fantastic. Time for borders. So I can throw all of these paper letters away. I know everything is good. Alright, I still want that, I want that. I need this. I can put those away. I'll put those away when I'm done. Alright, let's switch machines. I do not have to use this machine for borders, so I'm not going to. Because I do not want to put mileage on my nice expensive machine unless I have to. So let's switch it up for the cheap machine. Oh, sorry. Good. Okay. Cheap machine. There we go. Let's make sure I've got that. That's the only... Well, there's two things I don't like about it. There's no automatic cutter, and it doesn't save the stitches. You have to program the stitch in every single time you plug that thing in. Okay, so we've got a Ghostbusters quilt. Now, I have, as you see in the picture, I have 3 borders. I've got a red border, a white border, and a black border. I've done all of my math beforehand, so I know how big my border is going to be. My finished quilt is going to be 48 inches by 76 inches. The first border of the white is going to be 2.5 inches. The second border of, first border of red, 2.5 inches. Second border of white is going to be 5 inches. Third border of black is 2.5. So that's the finished size. I have to add on a 1/4 inch for each side for the seams. So I'm going to be cutting 3, 5.5, and 3 for my strips. So the first up is going to be red. So I'm actually going to put my white up here on top of my bindings. And let's see how big I need to be cutting it. So this is 27.5 inches. By 55 inches. So fabric is about 42 inches wide, so I at least have to cut 1.5. So 55, 42 would be 60. Okay. I'm gonna do the sides first, even though I'm doing the math to see if it's 20. Okay, so 40. I always go 40, so it has some extra things. So 40 inches minus 27.5. Okay, that's 12.5 plus 40 equals 52.5. 52.5 is not going to be the 56. Okay. Alright, that's fine. I was seeing if I could do the extra that I need to cut off for the top and the bottom, and if I can put them onto the left and right. Oh my god. I can't pick up pins with these nails to see if that could save me some fabric, but I can't. So I need to have, I'm going to cut myself 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 1.5 for each one. So 5 strips for this first border. Alright, and I'm cutting these strips 3 inches. So I'm cutting 5 3-inch strips. You know what? I'm gonna use my stripology ruler. This is the perfect case for it. Okay, so 3, 6, 9, 12, 15. Okay, put that away. This is the only drawback. There we go. Okay, done with red. Now, one of these, remember, needs to be cut in half and sewn to either side. So let's do that. Let's cut it in half. And sew it to either side. Now, whenever I'm doing this, there's 2 ways of doing borders whenever you're combining 2 pieces of fabric together. The first way is how you do binding, which is you do it on the angle. It's a lot stronger, it's better. I don't care. I just do a straight on. It's, to me, with a regular, with the regular border, honestly doesn't make a difference to me. So, what I do is I trim the edge. Just make sure it's perfectly straight. So you trim off the salvages. Oh, come here, trash can. And I fold all this over and pin it. There we go. Same thing. There we go. Now, since I'm already combining some things together, I'm just going to go ahead and add these 2 on. So I'm going to put the top and the bottom on first. Now, however you add on your borders, if you're doing multiple borders, you need to do the same thing for all the borders. This is how I combined my strips together, so I need to do the same thing for all the borders. I'm going to be doing the top and the bottom, and then the left and the right. So my second border, I'll do top and bottom and left and right. Don't want to switch it up unless there's a reason for it with the pattern. So you always want to keep the same. And you do want to iron your fabrics before you pin them onto the quilt. Oh, let's put the steam back on. I forgot that I had the steam off for my applique. Now, there's also 2 ways of pinning on your borders onto your quilt. Way 1 is the proper way of doing it. Measure the top. So if I'm doing the top and the bottom, I'm going to measure the left to the right. So I'm going to measure this amount on the top and then on the bottom, and take the average of the 2, and then cut the fabric, and then get it to fit. The second way, the way that I do it, the lazy way, the most efficient way, that's not proper, you just slap it on here and pin it in place. And then trim the side. scrap fabric. And then the same thing to the top. Personally, it does not bother me if the top and the bottom are exactly the same. You know what? I'm going to go ahead and do my math. So that was supposed to be 28 by 56. If I add on 2.5, 2.5, so that's going to be 5 inches to each. So the next one's going to be 33 by 61. And then adding on the second border is going to take it 43 by 71. Okay, and I'm doing these calculations so I know, do I need 1.5 strips or do I need 2 strips? Okay. Got it. Because remember, I like to be efficient. So, let's sew this border. Oops. Tends to happen a lot with the cheap machine. There we go. And it doesn't have an automatic threader. But you get what you pay for, right? Oh, come on. We completely take it out, put it back in again. These are the machines that I take for my classroom. So whenever I am a guest of a convention, or if I'm teaching a class at the local family center here, these are the machines I bring. I have 10 of them. So anytime the thread breaks, which it happens because they're cheap machines, I always have to say, okay, can you get up and move? Because I've got to sit in order to rethread this thing. I've tried to do it over the shoulder. Doesn't work it well. Oops. There I am throwing my scissors around. Now, I'm not pulling the fabric. I'm not pushing the fabric. I'm just guiding it in. The only difference is when I'm sewing over my pins. Don't do that. You're not supposed to sew over your pins. That's not a good thing. You can break your needles. You can hurt your machine. Yeah, I do it anyways. These are cheap machines. I don't care. If you notice, I'll pull it a little bit as I'm coming near a pin because I'm trying to get it to jump over that pin. I don't want to break the needles. There we go. And for efficiency, we're just going to pick that other piece up and put it on. Now, I chain piece with all of my sewing. That means I have something constantly in the sewing machine. It does two things. It speeds up the sewing for efficiency, and it also locks those threads at the beginning and the ending of the stitch. If you start a stitch at the edge of a fabric, it's not gonna, you're going to have a gap. It's not going to lock it in. If you chain piece it, it's going to lock it in. Oh, and I said I was going to move the mic, that way you didn't hear the stupid sewing machine sounds all the time. Pop this back up. There we go. All right. Okay, so I've got both of those sides. Now, I'm going to be super efficient. So, let's iron these. Oh, so this light here, I haven't mentioned that lately. The light that was back there that was on when I first started streaming, I have on whenever I'm not streaming. It is my daylight natural light lamp that I absolutely love. But those lamps, those lights, do not like the cameras. See how nice and bright it is? You really can't see much. It kind of gets too glary. Yeah. So I've got to keep them off for the stream. I actually have 4 of them. I have that one that's on my table, and I have 3 others that are around here that I turn off during the stream. Or else I would be super washed out. But I love my daylight lights. They are fantastic. They're especially good in the winter time because they simulate natural light. So I used to get seasonal affective pretty badly in the winter time. Not anymore. Because my sewing studio is actually in my basement. There's no windows, there's nothing. That way none of this fabric that's around me fades. So having these lights helps a lot. Okay, so for the second one, I said I was going to do 5.5 inches. Now it is going to be 33 by 61. So you know what? I could still... No, it's going to be 2. Oh, no, that's not a problem, Steve. I can definitely say that. Okay, so chain stitching. What chain stitching means is that you have something constantly in your sewing machine. So if you're piecing something, you put one piece in after the other. You don't cut them. You don't take the piece, cut it, set it aside, put in another piece. It's a constant movement. So you see how I still have something in my machine? At this point, I would either put a scrap piece of fabric in there to then free this, or I'm going to put the next thing in there, which is what I'm going to do. So I'm being efficient by putting my work in there instead to then free it. And then I just take scissors to cut between my seams. 2 benefits of the chain stitching again. The first one is it's a lot faster. You're moving faster, it's more efficient. But the second big reason is you're locking your stitches in. So at the very beginning and the very ending, those stitches are locked in. If you're not familiar with chain stitching, just out of practice, do 2 different things. Take 2 sheets of fabric and start it at the beginning and start sewing. And then take 2 more, put them in, and then chain them with something else. And then take a look at those stitches in the very beginning and see that you can actually see those stitches are locked in and they're not trying to come apart at all. So it's really nice. So chain stitching is a good thing. Okay. It's if I finish this and I start working on my Pac-Man quilt, the pixel eater pattern that I have, you'll actually see a lot of the chain stitching in play. So when I stream tomorrow and Sunday, there'll be a lot of that too. Okay, so I need to cut a single piece at the top and the bottom. And then, oh, you're welcome. And then 2, so I need to cut 6 strips. I need 1 at the top, 1 at the bottom, 2 on the left, 2 on the right. Okay, so I'm cutting 6 5.5-inch strips for this border. So this, if you look obviously, is the white. This is not glow in the dark. The only glow in the dark is the name Ghostbusters and the ghost itself. I will finish this. I'm probably not going to get to the pixel eater. I may have to start that tomorrow. But when I get this done, I'll actually charge it for a minute, and I'll call up to George, and I'll have her turn the lights off so you can see the glow. No, you do not have to back. If you're chain stitching, there's no back stitching. You don't have to worry about it. So as long as you are constantly having something in the machine, you don't have to back stitch at all. It's great. Okay, so 6 of these. There's 1. See, that's the point of my streams. The point why I Twitch stream is I want to encourage more people to sew and quilt, and I want to help in any way I can. So feel free to ask any questions anytime. There's 2. And that's also why I upload all of my videos to YouTube. So then if you're like, wait, what did she say about this? I know it was in this stream. You can go back and watch it. Three. Yeah, just do the 1. Pretty tight on space. 4. Now, that may not be the case, to Wolf, with some of those materials that you were saying that you used before on your overkill machine. So like canvas, leather, things like that. You may still need to backstitch those. Just because those materials are so thick, it may need that extra stitching. But for cotton fabric, yeah, if you're chaining, you don't have to backstitch. Yep, it slipped a little, so I need to square it up. There we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so white can go away. I always like to put my fabric away when I'm completely finished with it to get it out of the way. All right, so we're going to sew these together. And I'm not going to need this one anymore. So I'm making this border just like I made the previous border. There it is. I didn't think I went through both fabrics. All right, there's 1. Two. Oh, Cornersmith Saucy. I don't know if I have told you the next pattern's being released next week. I am releasing the God of Mischief, inspired by Loki, next Tuesday. Okay, so chaining. So I've already finished with this one, so now I'm going to start on the borders for my next one. And I can just free this. Let me see if I can show you in the camera how, yeah, you're not going to be able to see it. It's not nice, and you can't do a close-up of it. But yeah, but those seams are nice and locked, so you don't have to backstitch. Yeah, I thought you would like the God of Mischief. It's in our comics line. So, of course, you know I'm going to have a giveaway. So, whenever I release a new pattern, I always give one away. So, I will give that one away. I've got to think about what I want you guys to comment this time. So, I'll put that post up on Tuesday, and I will do the drawing on Thursday. So, that way I can talk about it on my blog on Wednesday. Oh, no. Feel free to go off topic, Steve-O. Seriously. So I had someone pop in one time that said, I have holes in a quilt my grandmother made me. How do I fix that? And I wasn't even doing anything like that. So no, feel free to ask anything you want. I refuse to work with silks and satins because they're horrible. They are absolutely horrible. They slip, they move, they are ridiculous to work with. You have to have special needles. Yeah, no. It's, if you want to see something funny, my stepdaughter plays ringette. So, we always try to do something fun and crazy for her ringette team every year. Her father does. So this year he bought one of those T-Rex costumes. So we made a cape for the T-Rex, and I Twitch streamed it. So you can actually find it on the YouTube. So we went to... Please watch the audio. Oh, okay. I didn't realize it's that short. I thought you were watching longer than that. So we went to the store, and I told Jordan, I said, look, pick any fabrics you want for the cape. 2 fabrics, one for the back and then one for the inside. I think she took the fabrics. I did have them in my scraps. Yep, she took them because she wanted to keep them. The first fabric that she picked for the outside was a blue satin. The fabric she picked for the inside was a glitter hollow fabric, which was even worse. I was like, child, you are going to kill me. You're going to make me use these fabrics. Are you kidding me? But we did it. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Nope, I gotta redo these. My seam stuff. Yep. I have to redo all this. So that means I've got to redo these too. So my seams are off. I need to re-thread everything. My tension is completely off, and the seam would not hold if I kept it like it was. Yeah, we think you've been around forever. And then I put Jord in the T-Rex suit to try it on. Oh, the girls had so much fun. They really, really liked him in the T-Rex suit with the cape. And it's funny, we did that because I had made him another cape a few years ago, and we couldn't find it. Guess what I found last night? While I was looking for the 3DS that he lost. Okay, so I have to re-sew these because my bottom seam was completely off. So when you're chaining, you always start with a scrap piece of fabric. Okay, let's check the seam. Which one is it? Yep. No, wait. Is the seam good now? Yep, seam's good now. Shoot. Okay. Oh yeah, these seams are bad. I can't believe I didn't see this before. It's not a big deal. So if your seams are bad, like these, your tension's off, and you have to redo it, you don't have to take all the thread out, and you don't have to pick it out. Just re-sew it. And it's now and I've got to watch it, make sure the seam is good. Oh, my lovely cheap machine. See, and this is why whenever people ask me for recommendations for a machine, for a good machine, for, you know, a first machine, they're like, oh, you have that $150 brother. Isn't that a great machine? Shouldn't I get one of those? No. And that is a first machine. Yep, okay, still good. Yeah. Issues. Issues. If you are an experienced sewer and you can deal with tension problems, thread breaking, stuff like that, oh, it's great. It's fantastic. Which is why I don't mind using these for my classroom machines, because I can handle all that because I will be there. But I do not recommend it for a machine, for your first machine. I'm actually reversing it so that the problem tension area is actually along the top, so I can see exactly what's going on. And if I flip it, I can go, okay, yeah, nope, the seams on the other side are both good, so it tells me what I'm sewing now is good. Because if you're ever going to have tension problems, chances are most of the time it's going to be along the bottom. Now, I knew my tension was good. I knew I did not have to change anything because it was sewing fine before. So I knew it had to be either A, the needle, or B, how I put the thread in there. So in this case, it was how I put the thread in there. If that did not, yeah, this one doesn't have reverse. It has a backup, 1 or 2 stitches, but doesn't have reverse. The other one you saw me do earlier has reverse. So if I, what was I saying? Oh, if that didn't work, if this rethreading didn't work, I would have changed the needle. It would have been one of those. So you notice how I'm cutting this off and moving it away as I'm sewing something else in there. See, it doesn't take long. Unlike when I was doing those baby quilts the other day, and I didn't catch my tension issue until 40 minutes into sewing. Yeah. Well, that's because I was just sewing. I wasn't sewing, ironing. But that's something I always look at when I go to iron fabrics. I look at it just to make sure the tension is good, because I have had problems. Oops. Another thing that you can check to see if you have tension issues or not, if you're ironing your seams like I was just doing, I iron my seams one direction, I don't iron them open. If you're ironing, for which one? For my machine? With the back stitching or with the tension for the thread? Oh, okay, yeah, after the tension. So when you typed the last comment, I said that this machine here can't go in reverse either. It can only, you can hit the back stitch button, but it goes like a single stitch at a time. The first machine you saw me use, that can go in reverse. It's quite nice. So then the other thing I was just saying, the tension of your thread, you can tell if the tension of your thread is off whenever you are ironing. If you can see your thread you're using when you're ironing, the tension is not good. It's not really in there a lot. All right, and now this, let me re-iron these. Now, whenever I do a border where I have 1.5 strips, I always start with the half strip. And that's because if I start with the whole strip, well, then I may just get like a little tiny bit of this half, and you don't want that. You want it nice and even. So I'm going to use the half strip first. And anytime there's a seam, so like right here there's a seam, I'm going to put a pin in the seam. Oh, it's already 7:30? Okay, yep, so I'm not going to get to the Pixel Eater quilt at all today. I will just get through the borders of this. I always forget how long borders take to put on quilts. I think, oh yeah, it's only going to be like 20 minutes to do 3 borders. Yeah, no, it's like an hour. Sometimes an hour and a half, depending how big those borders are. Just a weather warning. There we are. I'm going to do the same thing on this side. Now, I want it to be even. So, I'm doing it in reverse. I'm starting on the right-hand side with the short fabric because, remember I said try to do the same thing with every single side, every single strip. So instead of moving left to right, I'm moving right to left for this one, which is always a little weird for me. So this seam will actually be in line with the seam on the other side. Sometimes I don't do this. Sometimes I'm lazy and I just go left to right because it's what I know and so I can move faster with it. But this is a commission. And because someone has paid extra money just to have me make this quilt for them, I am going to make sure that everything is done the way it's supposed to be done. Oops. Right. And let's put this in here. I can cut those away. I'm just going to set them right here for now because I'm not going to be using them for a bit. I hit the pin. Nothing broke. Now, when you are nodding off here, sounds good. Thanks for popping in, Cornish Miss Saucy. I appreciate it. I may see you over the weekend if you pop in. And thanks for buying the pattern today. I love it. I appreciate it. So when you're doing chain stitching on borders, instead of putting the scrap fabric in between it, I just do this. And I did it for the first one, but I didn't point it out. I just flip it around and stick the other side in. And then cut it apart. And it's nice and solid in there. Another thing I don't like about this machine, I said I had to set the settings up right away. It is, not only do I have to pick the stitch every single time, but I have to adjust the stitch length. So it defaults to a 2, which is a really long stitch length. I don't like that. So I have to change it to a 1.6. I always do a 1.6 for all my stitch length. Unless, of course, I'm free motion quilting. Well, in that case, I determine how fast you move the quilt determines how big the stitch length is. Okay, scrap fabric. And pull the pins out. So, Two Wolf, what kind of things? You said you worked with canvas, you worked with other stuff on your old Singer, on the Beast. What kind of stuff did you sew? See, now I'm remembering why I initially did the red for that first border. It really brings it together and pops it. I really like that. It was at least 6 or 7 years ago I did my first Ghostbusters one. I did it whenever I discovered the glow-in-the-dark fabric. I went, oh, I want to use that. And I think initially I was going to do the white first, but then I chose the red, and I'm like, I kind of like the red. Hey, Jord. Yeah? I'm going to need your help in a bit with this quilt. So I want to show off the glow-in-the-dark. So when I finish the quilt, I'm going to have it charge under the light. And then I'll have you turn off the light for me. Okay. I'll let you know when. Okay. Probably like 30 minutes. So bags mainly now learn to sew and repelling. Oh, that's cool. So with the rappelling harness and parachute harness. Were you sewing them just to fix them? I assume stuff for the Navy, because you said you were in the Navy. As you guys can tell, I like to chat during my streams. It actually makes the time go by faster for me, and it makes me more efficient at sewing. Now, I'm doing these last because remember, I want to do things exactly the same way as I did for the first border. So, I'm going to go top and bottom first, and then left and right. And you always iron your fabric before you put it on. Oh, that's awesome. That's a great way to learn to sew. It's funny, Jordan's, oh my gosh, what's it called? Robotics club. Her robotics teacher learned to use a sewing machine by making the robot bumpers the year before. So when he found out that I could sew, he goes, oh, can you please make them? Jordan volunteered me. Alright, that's big enough piece, so that's scrap fabric. Sounds good. The printer that your cat was laying on that we scared whenever my dog barked. Okay, so I've got the border on the top and the bottom. More scrap fabric. So let's sew this. Excuse me. Husband's home, can you tell? Good night, Steve-O. Thanks for popping in. I appreciate it. Oh, that's cool. Print transfers for 200 t-shirts. So are they like vinyl, or you don't print like right onto the t-shirts, do you? We will... Yeah, I should get this done. I am totally going to show this to you guys as it glows. I get this finished. It's funny because whenever I talk to people, submission, oh, cool. T-shirt pressed up. That's awesome. You'll have to share some pictures. So every time I mention that I do glow-in-the-dark quilts and the Ghostbusters are glow-in-the-dark, I always get all the questions of, well, how much does it really glow? So some of the glow-in-the-dark fabrics that I have, I'll actually, for the pillows, I'll stuff the pillow in them and leave them out so they can charge. And then I will show people, okay, cover it and look, and you can see how much it glows. It glows so much. If you go to my website and look at the picture of the quilt that I have listed there, next to it, I have a picture of it glowing. And if you know anything about fabric that glows, you know that is super hard to get anything that glows in the dark to show up on a camera. So it's pretty strong glow. It's pretty cool. Which is why I'm sure Cornersmith Saucy wants to come back and watch the rest of it on YouTube. I still have to put yesterday's stream up on YouTube. I haven't done that yet. Come on. And again, I know I said it before, but I'll say it again. With my seams, I always like to iron my seams to one side. I do not iron my seams open. I am of the opinion it actually makes it a little bit stronger, ironing it to one side. I'm getting there. Now you notice whenever I trim off the edges for my border, all I'm doing is I'm lining it up. I'm actually lining it up along the seam here. So I'm lining it up, and then I'm making sure that this is straight here, and then just trimming off the side. You always, always, always want to trim your ends. You do not want them in there. Even though I'm putting another strip of fabric over here, you don't want those ends there, because it's going to add more bulk to your quilt. It's going to be a pain in the rear to quilt then. Go. All right, let's iron the other border. Oh, and new update on streaming gaming. My new gaming laptop, probably almost a month out of getting it. So I haven't decided if I'm going to get the capture card before I get that and just kind of experiment with my desktop, or if I'm going to wait for the gaming laptop in order to play around with it. So as soon as I figure out what I'm doing with that, I will let you guys know. Because I know some people have been asking to watch me play Splatoon. I knocked the microphone. I apologize if it made any noises. Stay. Apparently I threw the fabric over top of it. See, I'm wondering with your printer, if you could print your own fabrics. Like get a like a Kona or a nice style fabric and print stuff on there. Kind of like spoon flour. Put it over here, didn't I? Yep. Alright, now for this side, remember I want to keep it equal. So I'm going to start from the right hand side and move to the left. The dogs are racing upstairs because I can hear my husband playing with one of the dogs. So you know if one of the dogs is getting played with, they all have to get played with. Alright, so I'm starting on the right and moving to the left. And what that will do is I'll have my seam at the same area on both sides. Now this is a double. This wasn't 1.5, so it didn't make a difference which one I started with. Unlike the previous border where it was a 1.5 pieces, I wanted to make sure I started with that half. And there's a seam right here, so I want to make sure I put that pin in there. That's really cool. Yeah, no, this is tea turtle. So I think that's how they do it as well. Because if you feel it, you can feel that that's what they've done. They've printed it out and put it on. It's not a sublimation. Is that what it's called? Where it's directly into the t-shirt? Oh, that's cool. And locks in. Okay. Ink turns into gas and locks in. That's really neat. Can you tell I know nothing about printing? Yeah, oh yeah. Even now, like I look at some of my iron-on shirts and I'm like, yeah, those are not good quality. There's a lady that I use that lives in Virginia that her entire business is she takes your photos and prints it onto fabric. Pretty cool. So I do photo quilts, and that's how I do them, is I bought the stuff from her. It's a little pricey, but it's worth it. They look really nice. And the thing that I keep forgetting to point out, whenever you are sewing something long like this, you always want to make sure that it's straight on your lap as it's going in. Because if it's not straight going in, you're not going to get a straight stitch. Oh, that's really cool. Coffee cups, hats, okay. That's weird. Okay. The needle didn't necessarily break. I can't even tell if it bent or not. But apparently it got loose. And it came out, and it went down. All right, let's see if it's bent. I don't think it's bent. Okay, let's see if it works. Yeah, it still works. So it hit the pin, didn't break, but just kind of fell in. Still works fine. I would never use this pin for quilting. Yeah, my seams are still good. But for regular sewing off of these seams, it's still good. So the emojis that my friend is working on for me, for my subs, she's working on a happy sewing machine, what was it, an angry needle, yeah, an angry needle, and then a gloating bobbin, like haha. And she's also going to fix my thing, so instead of top donation, it'll have recent sub. That's the problem with people like me. I'm more of an engineer than an artist. I can't do any of that stuff. I completely rely on other people to do it. Alright, I did both sides, right? Yep. Oh, nope, I don't want to put that in. I want to cut my black. Okay, so for the black, I think I can fit one across for 43 inches. So let me cut one and see how long it is. Two and a half, right? Nope, 3. All right. That is 42 inches. Ooh. That's going to be really close. It is 43 inches wide, not counting the selvage. You know what? Let's try it. If it doesn't work, I can always cut more. One, two, three, 4, 5. Oh, 6. I need 6. I need 2 on the left and 2 on the right. There we go. This one, you know what, I'm looking at the time. I'm probably not going to run late and put on the black borders, because I have some things to do and Rainmaker starts at 10 o'clock in 2 hours. So I want to make sure I get those things done before Rainmaker starts, because, you know, Splatoon 2. Or maybe I will. It's not going to be too long. I just can't make up my mind. Oh, let's get these pins out. I just really want to show you guys glowing in the dark, because I think it is the coolest thing. Now, I've never tried to show something that glows in the dark on the Twitch stream before, so I'm hoping this is going to work. Oh, I apologize. 18 minutes ago, I missed the follow. TV Hens, thank you very much for the follow. I appreciate it. Look at that. So we're only 7 away from the giveaway. Oops. Stay up here. Don't be difficult with me. Now this white, again, does not glow in the dark. It's just regular Kona fabric. Alright, let's see if this black will fit, or if I have got to cut One more piece. Haha! Fantastic. Okay, so I'm going to stop working on it right now because I want to give this a chance to charge. So I'm going to turn on my super light. Let it charge up for a minute. Because I want to show you glow in the dark. Yeah, see what I mean? See how that light just kind of like washes it out? Yeah, so the daylights, that's the, it's the same maker of the light table that I used yesterday to cut all these pieces out. So it's fantastic. It simulates natural light. So in the winter time, because I work in the basement, I'm working in the studio here, I never have to worry about seasonal affective disorder, ever. Because it simulates the natural light. Hey, Jord? Yeah? You almost ready to help me? Yeah. Alright, you ready to see some glow in the dark? I'm crossing my fingers this works. Okay, so let me turn all these lights off over here. It's going to get a little dark in here. And the lights are going to be weird because it's only going to be the one fluorescent overhead light, which is horrible.
What would you like me to do again?
Okay, so I'm going to tell you in a moment. Let me put that down. Let me turn the screen. Let me close that.
Yeah.
Let me move this away. That way there's no bright lights. Okay, I'm going to have you turn the light off in a moment, and I'm going to show them... Oh, wait, I got to turn the light off back in the back room. I'm going to try to show off the glowing part of the Ghostbusters quilt.
Okay. Ooh, there's a spider up here.
Okay, go ahead and turn the light off. Ha ha ha!
Don't fall.
No, I didn't. I knocked something else off. So hopefully you guys can see that in the camera. Here, do me a favor. Yeah. Here, come over here and look at this. And let me know if you can see the glow in the camera.
A little bit, not very well.
Oh, but you can see it a little bit at least, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, you know how hard it is to see glow on cameras? Yeah. You can see a little bit.
If you like focus real hard on it and put your face close to the screen, you'll see it.
Ooh, is that better?
No.
No?
I think you made it worse.
I made it worse? Okay, what about if I step back here like this? Is that better?
Yeah, because you can... That's also giving you light to see the rest of it, but the white's sticking out more.
Okay.
So it doesn't look like a reflection of something.
It actually glows in the dark.
Yeah. You can tell that it's green.
Well, see, that's the problem is I can't turn that screen off, right? I can't turn that light off.
No.
So, okay, will you flip that light right there next to you?
I don't
Yeah,
understand.
and the bottom, very bottom. No, on the actual light itself. Okay. Wait, no, down. Right there. Flip.
Oh, okay. Told you, I'm not good with lights. I'm not good with TVs. And I'm not good with bullets.
Oh yeah, I guess you can see it a little bit. Fantastic. All right, we go flip the light back on again.
What I want to do.
All the lights come on again. Yeah, so that's the glow in the dark Ghostbusters quilt. Trust me, you can see it a lot better in person. So it is, but it's pretty cool because it glows in the dark. I actually had someone buy, whenever I made them and actually had them at shows, I had someone buy one for me at a show. And then a year later, he came back to me and he said, hey, so can I commission one that doesn't glow in the dark? I'm like, why? What's wrong? He goes, well, I was sleeping with it and the glow kind of kept me up for a little bit. So, yeah, I need one without it. The glow's cool and I love it, but I need one without it. So, yeah, so I made him one. So, that's it for today's stream. Thank you very much for joining me. I will be streaming tomorrow, Sunday. I'll be working on the Pixel Eater quilt. So you can see a lot of the chain methods, how I do my own patterns, a lot of the stuff like that. I will do a post probably sometime tomorrow, early morning, early afternoon about the time. I'll give you a general idea of what time I'm going to be streaming, but I don't know now until I won't know until tomorrow. But I will let you guys know, and I'm going to be streaming a couple of days next week as well. So it's my last week before Gen Con, before my crazy schedule of traveling. So yeah, thanks for joining me. I appreciate it, guys. I will catch you guys tomorrow.